Conflict Desert Storm for the GameCube, Silent Hill 3 for the PlayStation 2, and in Buried Treasure, I remember Robotron X. All right, first game we're going to talk about is Return to Castle Wolfenstein Tides of War from Activision for the Xbox and Xbox Live. Now, what'd you think of this game?
Well, I gotta tell you, the thing that annoyed me most about this game
Yes?
is the midget foot.
Oh, you don't like the kicking action in Return to Castle Wolfenstein?
There's a kick animation in this game,
Right.
which is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen in my life. This little midget foot pops out. It's about half the size of the gun, and it's completely proportionately wrong, and it's the funniest thing in the world. It makes no sense. What were they thinking?
I don't know. It's a throwback to the old Castle Wolfenstein 3D game, and they had kicking in that game, and they wanted to keep kicking as a part of this game.
Now, when I think of Castle Wolfenstein, I'm thinking back to the old Castle Wolfenstein from the Apple II and Commodore days where, you know, you're against the Third Reich, you got to go in there, you get Hitler in the end.
You're killing the Nazis.
And now this takes place in 42, but what's with all this, like, dragons and,
they're
evil, magical characters? Oh, how did that happen?
Well, what they're doing is they're going into the Hitler's fascination with the occult.
I don't like it.
Where they're using all of this sort of mystical, magical, occult-style
I don't
energy.
like it. Just give me a bunch of Nazis and let me kill them. That's all I ask for.
Well, you get
I
that.
don't want to kill magical, zombie, floating genie monsters.
And fire monsters and stuff.
Stupid.
You get both in this game. This game gives you a little of that sort of Nazi killing stuff, but you also get the magic Nazi killing as well.
Well, hey, look, let's call a spade here. The reality is, this game really isn't about the single player in the story anyway, is
Well,
it?
the single player is fun, but again, it's one of those games where you're basically learning how to play the game through the single player. It's still engaging.
I'll tell you what you're doing is you're opening doors and you're shooting people. That's pretty much it.
You're killing everybody, but you get to feel the control and the way that you switch between weapons and move around in the environments. And also, I mean, the reason why you would want to play the single player, and I agree with you, the multiplayer is really what the story is here, but the single player does deliver some beautiful environments, lots of cool things to see, great sort of...
It's very brown.
Well, it's brown, but the crew that made this game went to Europe and they took pictures of all these castles and they used actual photographic stuff that they went and collected themselves.
And then they dipped them in brown.
And put them into the game. And I like the visual quality and the look of this game. It looks really nice. I like the
reason you got
the lighting is amazing.
Well, the reason you got to play the single player is for one reason.
What's that?
To get the midget foot in there. Because when you kick the doors, this little thing comes out. The multiplayer is where it's at. It's really the first kind of war combat first-person shooter. This is the game that everybody's going to play before Halo 2. They're waiting for Halo 2.
Yes.
This is the thing that's going to tide them over, get them ready for that experience.
Yes.
You have, there's different methods in the multiplayer. We were playing where we had to defend the plans, and the other team had to steal our plans and try to get them back.
Into the radio tower and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and you can call airstrikes, and airstrikes will come.
Affirmative, on my way.
I really love the fact, though, that if you get shot and you're down, you actually have a medic guy who can come and inject you with a needle. When you go into Xbox Live, though, for the first time, you get, just destroyed by all the expert players out there, and that's not fun.
We don't want to discourage people from getting out there, though. I mean, the only way you're going to get better, let's face it, is if you take the risk and jump on there and start to learn how to play. Guaranteed, you're going to have an amazing time. Wolfenstein really is the best Xbox Live game you can get right now. I love this thing. 9.5 out of 10.
Oh, a 9.5?
It's an awesome game, man.
Are you kidding me?
It's nearly a perfect game. It's
an
awesome game.
Way off.
What are you going to give it?
I'm giving it a 7.
A 7 out of 10.
Exactly what it deserves.
Oh, man, you hate first-person shooters. On the positive side, this game features an incredible collection of multiplayer games. Playing on Xbox Live with your friends is a total blast in Wolfenstein. And the presentation overall, graphics, sound, music, excellent. This is a great, great game.
On the negative side, there's not much of a solo player game here at all. The environments just aren't lush enough for me like you saw in a Halo. Everything's brown. Oh, wait, I got one more. Midget foot,
All right, the next war game we're going to talk about now is called Conflict Desert Storm. It's for the GameCube, and it's from Gotham Games. What do you think of this one?
Well, you know, the funny thing about this game is they have this whole training mode to get you to you know, start the game. And it's like you're in boot camp, so you get yelled at for 30 minutes.
From now on, you will speak only when spoken to, and the first and the last words out of your mouth will be, sir. Do you understand? Sir, yes, sir.
I had a few problems with this game overall.
What's that?
Private, was there any lip syncing in this game?
No, sir, there wasn't any, sir.
What'd you think of those yellow streams, Private?
The yellow streams looked a little bit weird, sir.
How about those grainy graphics, Private?
It didn't look right on the GameCube, sir. GameCube's capable of a lot better looking stuff, sir.
Exactly my point, see? They fell short in a lot of the polish of this game. There is no lip syncing. The yellow streams look like little fireworks or something, but throw all that kind of polish aside.
Yeah.
And boy, do you have a really fun, entertaining game.
It was a big surprise. It is surprisingly complex. You can do a lot of different things. You can also command your troops. You can hop into vehicles. You've got all kinds of different sort of things that you can do on the fly, like tell your troops to split off and go in different directions. They can cover you. They
give
can
them med kits to heal them.
Med kits. You can pick up all kinds of different weapons along the way. Rocket launchers.
Rocket launchers.
Call in airstrikes if you want to. You know, and
laser targets and have those come in. You can set bombs and C4. You explode bridges. You rescue people.
Yep.
I tell you what, this is the best game. They should have put Rambo on this game because this is the best. I felt like Rambo in this game, which is great.
You do. It's set in the first Gulf War of 1990. So you're going back in time when Iraq and Kuwait were just about to go at it, and you can play as Delta Force Squad, or you can play as the SAS from Britain. Right, so you can jump into the conflict either way that you want to go. You're not completely alone. You do have sort of artificial intelligent teammates. There's also a multiplayer mode in the game.
But you can shoot your own guys.
You can shoot your own guys.
That's really fun. But not only can you pop your own guys in the face.
You can, yes.
You know what else you can do?
They don't like that, by the way.
They got it. There was a couple of goats, and I shot them right in the.
Okay.
And they died.
Yeah, you killed the goat.
And I go, bah.
Bravo. Bah. He's a goat killer. I also like the fact that you get rewarded for doing well in the missions. Your characters will actually, you know, get medals and they'll get better in their different skill sets. So it makes the game more enjoyable with all the rewards that you get as you work your way through the game. I didn't think it was a perfect game by any means, but I was surprised by how much fun I had. 7.5 out of 10.
That's exactly what I give it, 7.5.
On the positive side, you get a ton of weapons to choose from, and you get to control vehicles in the game. The training mode is entertaining. It's always fun to get yelled at. And I also really like the idea that you can take control of your squad and watch them improve their skills and win medals as you work your way through the game.
But don't forget, you can shoot goats in the bum, too.
Oh, yes, and you can shoot goats.
In the bum.
Right.
On the negative side, none of the characters were lip-synced at all. The graphics overall are very grainy and not up to this generation's par. And the yellow streams of bullets seemed out of place.
All right, well, after this, we got more combat action for you with a game called Brute Force. Stick around. Hey, Nintendo's been worrying about people out there with attention deficit disorder, and they've created a game especially for them. It's called WarioWare Inc. Micro Mega Games. Basically what the game is, it's a collection of about 200 little mini micro games that happen really, really fast. Each game lasts about 5 seconds in total, and all of the games are completely absurd. You've got some games in there that are going to be familiar to longtime Nintendo players. They're sort of recreations of SNES or NES classic games like Balloon Fight or F-Zero. There are a bunch of weird ones in there. I mean, really strange ones. I mean, in one of them, you've got this finger that's going underneath the nose, and you have to time it right so it goes right up the nose. Another one, you got a little eyedropper thing. You got to drop it in the eye. This other one, there's a woman with a big booger, and you got to press the button really fast so the booger gets snorted back. It's very strange, okay? I'm just telling you, it's very weird stuff in the game, but it's oddly addictive, and you can't stop playing the game. And what's so cool about it is that as you keep going into the game, you unlock all kinds of extra little challenges. Like the paper airplane one, they actually make a 3D version of the paper airplane, and it flies in a window, and you have to try to last as long as you can. There's a little skateboard game. There are even two-player games, what they've done is instead of two linked Game Boy Advances, you actually have two-player games on one Game Boy Advance, and each person takes half the Game Boy and they figure out the game that way. Very innovative stuff, incredible looking art style to this game. There's lots of variety, lots of different things to see. You're constantly surprised, constantly entertained. This is a terrific cartridge and I highly recommend it. 9.5 for WarioWare Inc. All right, we're back. We're going to talk now about another sort of military-themed game. This one's called Brute Force. It was developed by Digital Anvil, published by Microsoft for the Xbox. What'd you think of this one?
Well, Brute Force is a really fun, simplistic game you can get into. I had a lot of fun in this game. I mean, you throw grenades at people, they blow up, you go around. There's a really rich storyline. The cinematics, the cutscenes are really well done.
Beautiful, yeah. This is an action-oriented third-person shooter. You're constantly in battle. You're constantly being faced with lots of bad guys to really kick the crap out of. The story here, though, is that you've got a multiplayer combat game, and you actually have to sort of manipulate and work with your teammates on the game. You're in a squad. There's 4 of you all together, and you can call in the people to do different tasks for you, and you can also take control of any of the 4 different people. And of course, all the different characters in the game have their own skills and abilities. And so together, they all sort of collectively make up each other's shortfalls, and they make a really amazing team. There's 6 different worlds.
The grenades, it's all about the grenades.
There's 30 different weapons, and the grenades are really cool. There's grenade launchers and rocket launchers and laser weapons and sniper rifles.
All the blah, 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 all the weapons that every single game ever has, yeah.
And they blow up really good.
I like some of the environments and effects are really cool too. You got these little willow things that are kind of remind me of the movie Legend. At one point.
Oh, when all the blossoms are falling from the trees.
Yeah, they got that
very
kind
pretty.
of vibe. I mean, they did a really, really good job of putting this game together. It's a really good entire package. The sound is there, the controls are there, the graphics are there.
There's downloadable content as well on Xbox Live.
The gameplay is there. I mean, this game, you know, has it all. But I highly recommend not playing this game with the split screen.
Right.
They have the split screen mode in here. It's awful.
You can have up to 4 people playing at the same time, and they can join in at any time. They just got to plug in a controller and press start, and boom, they're in the game. The only problem, it does have the downloadable content on Xbox Live, but it doesn't actually play multiplayer on Xbox Live, and that's ridiculous. I mean, this would have been an awesome Xbox Live game. They absolutely should have put that in. And because it doesn't have Xbox Live, you know, I'm taking points off because of that.
I'm giving it an 8.
I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. On the positive side, the controls in this game are very similar to Halo, great for this kind of action. The visuals in the game are very nice, great looking cutscenes, awesome explosions, nice looking characters in this one too. And the best part of all is the teamwork that factors into the gameplay.
On the negative side, we would have loved to have seen this game on Xbox Live. And this game is more of a fast action shooter, so if you're looking for deep gameplay elements, you're not going to find it here. And finally, the split screen really blows.
Now, I've been playing these flight sim space shooter games on my PC for a long time. I've always enjoyed those kinds of games, and I like flight sticks, but I've always wanted something like this. This is Logitech's Freedom 2.4 flight stick that is cordless. This is a wireless flight stick. I love this thing because I can't stand all of my controller cables all over the place.
So you're saying it's a nuisance for you to have the cord connected from there to the computer?
My desk is...
You'd rather have this?
Yes,
okay.
My desk is cluttered with wires as it is. I love flight sims, and this controller actually made me want to go back and play some of the great ones. I love playing Crimson Skies.
Why would it make you want to play? It just doesn't have a wire that goes from here to here. Oh, I want to play all my games again.
Not only is it cordless, it's really well designed. The ergonomics are awesome. It feels great in your hand. It's got the twist physics thing, so you can change the rudder controls and tilt your craft, no problem. So you're going to recommend the Logitech Freedom controller here?
I mean, the thing worked. I mean, I went upstairs. I got a bite to eat out of the refrigerator.
Still flying?
I had this flying with the stick. I come back down. The game was I was still flying.
You were still flying.
It works.
I'm going to recommend this as well. This is a great controller. On the positive side, this stick is cordless, no more wires, love it. The ergonomics of the Logitech 2.4 are fantastic. It feels really good in your hand. It's got the twist motion, and you can't tip the controller over.
On the negative side, you forget that it's wireless, so when you go upstairs to make a sandwich, your game is still on, and when you come back down, you're dead. And finally, I pushed one of the buttons, and it kept opening and closing my garage door.
What?
Well, okay, all that stuff wasn't true, but I couldn't think of anything else.
Stick around. We're going to get all creeped out by Silent Hill 3 right after this.
Eat this.
No thanks.
Oh, now here's a game that I think could have been a lot more. It kind of felt a little short.
You didn't like it?
I liked it, but I think it could have been a lot better. What did you think of the graphics?
I thought they were really great. It was sharp and crisp, but better than that were these awesome camera angles. The camera's flipping and flying all over the place.
I love when you hit off the high jump and it swings around you. And I mean, the camera angles are they were well thought out.
Yes.
You know? What wasn't well thought out though was the way that the actual control and interface, not very challenging a game.
The slalom race where you're knocking down the flags and stuff like that.
What was that all about?
All you're doing,
I couldn't even.
All you're doing is a speed, and then you press the B button, I think, and you knock the flag down, and that's it. You have no control over where your character's going. And I agree with you on that stuff. But there's 11 events. The snowboarding is really cool. The bobsled is totally fun. The aerial ski jumps are a blast.
Aerial ski jumps, another one I couldn't figure out.
Oh, it was easy, man. You just got to time. You got to time the extension. You got to time the angle, and you time the lands. Yeah, you fell on your face. I'd give Winter Heat about an 8 out of 10.
No,
what would you give it?
I thought it was fun to play, but it could have been easily improved. 6.5.
Hey, I'm here at EB Games, and if you've been watching Electric Playground or Judgment Day for a long time, you probably know that I love Robotron. I'm a huge fan of Robotron 2084. Well, in 1996, Midway and a development company called Player One developed an update, a 3D update to Robotron. It's called Robotron X on the PC and PlayStation 1 and Robotron 64 on the N64. Now, the thing about Robotron that makes it so addictive, even in this updated version, is the fact stop to breathe in this thing. You've got enemies coming around you from all different sides, and it gets very, very hairy, but luckily you have tons of firepower, and what makes this game so much fun is the fact that you can move with one side of the control and fire with the other. So you could be running in one direction and shooting in the other. Very fast action. They've added all kinds of power-ups to this game as well. So now you've got beams that split off in 4 ways. You've got sort of electromagnetic pulse things that shoot off in big sort of, big breadth of firepower that way. You also have flamethrowers. Very fun and worth checking out. Robotron X. All right, we're back, and we're going to switch now from the war sort of theme games over to a horror game. This is Silent Hill 3 from Konami for the PlayStation 2. What'd you think? Tommy?
I'm being silent. I gotta say off the bat that the graphics in this game are probably some of the best I've ever seen on the PlayStation 2.
Absolutely.
Now, that being said, now that I got all the good points of the game out of the way,
come on, there's
let me tell you about
more positive things to talk about than that.
I am so sick and tired of these survival horror genre games. They can all, you know what they can do, and this one's no exception. This game suffers from all the same problems as all the stupid games like this, in that all you do is you go around this completely empty world looking for nothing, okay? All the animations are wrong. You gotta push buttons to open doors. There's no animation of reaching for the door. You got your one footstep sound throughout the entire game. You have to, a completely ridiculous, absurd inventory system.
Did you just say ridiculous?
Left over from the PlayStation 1.
Right.
Are you with me on that?
I
that
am.
It looks like the PlayStation 1?
It's ridiculous.
You have to equip yourself with things like beef jerky. Like, what is that all about?
You never know when beef jerky might come in handy.
Does it not bother you that you can actually run away from every single enemy you encounter in this game? Oh no, there's a big giant guy with meat hands. Oh, run right around him. Goodbye, big meat hand person. What fun is this?
It's twisted fun.
And you trying to shoot them. I'm like, Vic, run!
That's the game. You gotta kill the monsters.
Why would you just
the
run by
the
them?
monsters are part of the puzzle. This is par for the course. with the survival horror games. I
Yeah,
agree
they're
with
boring,
you.
stupid.
Well, if you start with that attitude,
Which I did.
well, guess what?
What?
You're not going to have a good time playing this one because it is a survival horror game. So if this is just not your taste and not your genre, stay away. But if you're looking for scary, immersive adventure games like the Silent Hill games have always provided,
then play the first two.
No, Silent Hill 3 is a great addition to the series.
I love Silent Hill.
And it's very, very creepy, and it really gets on, under your skin. You're completely...
Yeah, it gets under your skin because it's so annoying that they drop the ball in so many video game design basics.
Listen, I agree with you. There are problems with the engine for this game. It is very outdated. Outdated, but this game will creep you out. You can't play this in a group. You've got to sit home alone with the lights off and play this game, and it will freak you out.
I tell you why it doesn't creep me out though.
Why?
Because they got that one really loud footstep sound, and that totally takes me out of the mood.
So you're gonna basically boil it all down to the fact that the one footstep sound took you out of the experience.
And the menu screens, and the animations, and the lack of enemies, and the control.
All right, so what are you going to give Silent Hill 3? What did you think of this one?
A 10.
You're going to give it a 10 out of 10?
Well, it's a 10.
Perfect game, pretty much. You loved everything about it.
No, I'm going to give it a 6.
I gave it a 7.5. I like Silent Hill more than the Resident Evil games now. On the positive side, the graphics in Silent Hill 3 are phenomenal. These are some of the best you'll find on PlayStation 2. There are lots of really cool environments to look around in. And if you're a fan of survival horror games, you're going to find a lot to like in this one. These monsters are going to creep you out.
On the negative side, the menu screens for this are very archaic. You can pretty much walk away from every enemy in the game. And finally, we all know my favorite thing, the one footstep sound.
Today we took a look at Return to Castle Wolfenstein Tides of War for the Xbox. This is an awesome Xbox Live online game. You gotta try it online, but Tommy couldn't stand the little tiny foot in the kick animation. Also on the Xbox, we looked at Brute Force from Microsoft. This is a great looking action game with very cool characters, but this game screams out for some Xbox Live support. On the GameCube, we looked at Conflict Desert Storm from Gotham Games. This was a surprisingly enjoyable and very deep game, but it's got some clunky controls and some dated graphics. On the PlayStation 2, we looked at Silent Hill 3. This survival horror game is intense, spooky, very twisted. It's just too bad that the pacing is so slow, you can walk for your life. In hardware, Tommy and I looked at Logitech's Freedom 2.4 flight stick for the PC. This stick's got excellent ergonomics and functionality. This really is one of the best flight sticks you can find. On the Game Boy Advance, I looked at WarioWare Inc. Microgame. This game is loaded with all kinds of fun activities. It's going to be very hard to put this one down. It was all about violent, gruesome, gory games this week. We'll see you guys next time.
I'm prepared.
Yeah.
I just talk about poo and pee.
Yeah.
And everybody laughs at me and thinks I'm cute and funny.
Well, you do.
He's got to actually research these things and say intelligent things. Me, I just get away with making fun of him.